A millionaire came home early from a business trip, walked into his mansion, and found his 72-year-old mother on her hands and knees, scrubbing the marble floor, while his fiancée sat on the couch, eating chocolates and scrolling through her phone. What he did next changed everything. But the twist? Nothing was what it seemed. Comment below, what would you do in this situation? His name was Richard Hayes. 43 years old. Self-made millionaire. Built a tech company from his garage. Sold it for $85 million 3 years ago. Now he invested. Consulted. Lived the life he'd dreamed of as a poor kid. Richard was supposed to be in Chicago for 3 days. Big investor meeting. But it ended early. Deal closed in 1 day instead of 3. So he flew home. Didn't tell anyone. Wanted to surprise his fiancée, Ashley, and his mother Ruth, who'd moved in 6 months ago. He pulled into the circular driveway. His mansion. 8 bedrooms. Pool. Guest house. Everything he'd worked for. Everything he wanted to share with the woman he loved. And the woman who raised him. He opened the front door quietly. Wanted to surprise them. And he heard it. A voice. Sharp. Cold. Cruel. Ashley's voice. I don't care if your back hurts. I said scrub it again. You missed a spot. Richard froze. Walked slowly toward the living room. And what he saw made his blood run cold. His mother. 72 years old. Arthritis in her hands. Bad knees. On the floor. Scrubbing. With a bucket and a brush. And Ashley. 29 years old. Designer clothes. Perfect manicure. Sitting on the white leather couch. Eating Belgian chocolates from the box Richard had bought her. Watching his mother scrub. Like it was entertainment. Richard stood there. Hidden by the doorway. Watching. Listening. Not believing what he was seeing. Please, Ashley, his mother said quietly. I already cleaned this floor twice today. My knees. Your knees. Ashley laughed. A cold sound. You think I care about your knees? Richard pays for everything in this house. The least you can do is keep it clean. But we have housekeepers. They come tomorrow. I don't want them touching my things. You live here for free. You eat our food. You take up space. You can earn your keep. Richard's mother went back to scrubbing. Silent tears running down her face. Ashley picked up another chocolate. And when you're done with the floor, the guest bathroom needs cleaning. I had friends over yesterday and it's disgusting. Ashley, I cleaned it this morning. Well, clean it again. His mother's hands were shaking. Richard could see them from where he stood. Shaking from pain. From exhaustion. From humiliation. This woman who raised him alone. Who worked 3 jobs to keep him fed. Who never complained. Never asked for anything. Being treated like a servant. In his house. By the woman he was going to marry. Ashley's phone rang. She answered. Sweet voice. Fake laugh. Oh, hi, Jessica. Yeah, I'm just relaxing at home. You know, having the help clean up. Richard spoils me so much. The help. She called his mother the help. Richard's mother kept scrubbing. Head down. Silent. And Richard saw something that broke his heart. She was crying. But she was trying to hide it. Didn't want to make trouble. Didn't want to burden her son. Just, enduring. Richard pulled out his phone. Opened the camera app. And started recording. Everything. Every word. Every image. Every moment. Because what was about to happen needed to be documented. But here's what nobody knew. Not Ashley. Not even his mother. Richard had been watching this for weeks. 3 weeks earlier, Richard had installed hidden cameras. Throughout the house. Not to spy. But to test. See, Richard Hayes wasn't born rich. He grew up in a 2-room apartment. His mother worked as a janitor. A waitress. A factory worker. Whatever it took to keep him in school. They ate rice and beans for dinner most nights. Richard wore thrift store clothes. Got bullied for being poor. But his mother never complained. She'd say, We don't have money, baby. But we have character. And character is worth more than gold. Richard built his company on that principle. Hired people based on character, not resumes. Treated everyone with respect. Remembered where he came from. When he met Ashley 2 years ago, she seemed perfect. Beautiful. Charming. Successful marketing executive. She said all the right things about family. About values. But Richard had been burned before. Women who wanted his money, not him. So when Ashley moved in 6 months ago, and when his mother needed a place to stay after selling her apartment, Richard saw an opportunity. A test. Would Ashley treat his mother with kindness? Or show her true colors? For 3 weeks, Richard had been traveling. Business trips. Investor meetings. All real. But he'd been watching. Through the cameras. Seeing everything. Week 1, Ashley was polite but distant. Ignored his mother mostly. Week 2, Ashley started asking his mother to do small things. Can you grab my coffee? Mind doing the dishes? Week 3, full abuse. Treating her like a maid. Making her clean. Mocking her. Belittling her. Richard had seen it all. Every cruel word. Every dismissive gesture. And today was supposed to be the final test. He'd told Ashley he wouldn't be home until Thursday. Gave her 3 days alone with his mother. To see how far she'd go. And now he knew. He stepped into the living room. Hello, Ashley. She jumped. Dropped her phone. Richard. Oh my God, you scared me. What are you doing home? His mother looked up from the floor. Face wet with tears. Richard. He looked at her. Then at Ashley. And his voice was ice cold. What's going on here? Ashley stood up quickly. Smoothing her dress. Fake smile plastered on. Oh, Richard. Your mom was just, she insisted on cleaning. You know how she is. Can't sit still. Richard looked at his mother. Still on her knees. Bucket beside her. Mom? Is that true? His mother opened her mouth. And Richard saw it in her eyes. She was going to lie. Going to protect Ashley. Protect him. Protect the relationship. Because that's who she was. Always putting others first. Yes. I wanted to help. Stop, Richard said quietly. He walked to his mother. Helped her up gently. Her knees cracked. She winced. How long have you been on this floor today? Richard, it's fine. How long, Mom? She looked down. 3 hours. Ashley jumped in. Well, she wanted to do a thorough job. I kept telling her to rest but... Stop lying, Richard said. Ashley's smile faltered. What? I said stop lying. I heard everything. I saw everything. He pulled out his phone. Pressed play on the recording. Ashley's voice. You live here for free. You eat our food. You take up space. You can earn your keep. Ashley's face went white. Richard, that's not. I didn't mean. You called my mother the help on the phone. I heard that too. I was joking. Jessica knows I joke. For 3 weeks, I've been watching you. Through cameras. I've seen how you treat her when I'm not here. The cruelty. The disrespect. Everything. Ashley's mask dropped. Just for a second. And Richard saw the real her. Cold. Calculating. Angry at being caught. Then the mask came back. Tears. Trembling lip. Richard, please. You're misunderstanding. I love your mother. I was just stressed. Planning the wedding. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant every word. Every action. This is who you really are. Comment below, should he forgive her or end it? Ashley was crying now. Full performance. Mascara running. Richard, please. Don't do this. I made a mistake. I'll apologize. I'll make it right. You had 3 weeks to make it right. You chose to make it worse. She grabbed his arm. I love you. We're getting married in 2 months. You can't throw that away because of a misunderstanding. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is your character. This is who you are when you think no one's watching. Ashley's tears stopped. Just like that. Her face hardened. Fine. You want to know the truth? Your mother is annoying. She's always here. Always in the way. I was doing you a favor trying to make her useful. Richard's jaw clenched. A favor? Yes. You're a millionaire, Richard. You should have hired help. Not let your elderly mother live here like some charity case. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Yes. My friends ask why you have your mom living here instead of a nice assisted living facility. It makes us look cheap. Richard looked at his mother. She was crying silently. Years of being made to feel like a burden. All coming out. Get out, Richard said quietly. What? Get out of my house. Now. Ashley laughed. Actually laughed. You can't kick me out. I live here. We're engaged. I have rights. You have nothing. This house is in my name. You never contributed a single dollar. You're a guest. And I'm asking you to leave. Ashley's face twisted. If you kick me out, I'll sue you. Breach of promise. Emotional distress. I'll take you for everything. Try it. I have 3 weeks of video footage showing you abusing an elderly woman. A jury will love that. Ashley went pale. You were recording? Every second. Every room. Everything. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to pack your things. You're going to leave quietly. And you're going to sign a release saying you have no claim to anything of mine. In exchange, I won't press charges for elder abuse. Ashley's mouth opened and closed. Elder abuse? I didn't. You forced a 72-year-old woman with arthritis to scrub floors for 3 hours. That's abuse. And I have proof. Ashley looked around. At the mansion. The luxury. The life she thought she'd secured. All of it, gone. I hate you, she whispered. I don't care. You have 1 hour. Pack and leave. And she did. Screaming. Crying. Throwing things. But she left. After Ashley left, Richard sat with his mother. She was still shaking. I'm so sorry, she whispered. For what? For ruining your relationship. For causing problems. For being a burden. Stop. Richard took her hands. You are not a burden. You have never been a burden. You are the most important person in my life. But she was right. I should be in a facility. Not here disrupting your life. Mom, listen to me. When I was 8 years old, we lived in that tiny apartment. Remember? With the broken heater. She nodded. You worked 3 jobs. Came home exhausted. But you still helped me with my homework. Still made sure I ate. Still told me I could be anything I wanted. One night, I heard you crying in the bathroom. You thought I was asleep. You were crying because you couldn't afford to buy me new shoes for school. Mine had holes in them. His mother started crying. You remember that? I remember everything. And the next day, you took an extra shift. Worked yourself to exhaustion. Just so I could have shoes that didn't leak. You sacrificed everything for me. Your health. Your dreams. Your comfort. So I could have a chance. And now I have everything. Money. Success. This house. All of it because of you. Because you believed in me when no one else did. So when you needed a place to live, did you really think I'd put you in a facility? Ship you off like you're inconvenient? I just don't want to be in the way. You're not in the way. This is your house as much as mine. More, actually. Because without you, none of this exists. His mother looked at him. Really looked at him. Why did you set up cameras? Did you know Ashley would? Richard sighed. I suspected. Little things. The way she talked about money. About status. About appearances. So I tested her. You tested her? Yes. I've been testing everyone in my life since I got money. You'd be surprised how many people fail. That seems cruel. Maybe. But you know what's more cruel? Marrying someone who treats the people I love like garbage. Building a life with someone who values money over character. You taught me that money doesn't define a person. Character does. Ashley had money, education, beauty. But no character. No kindness. No class. And without those things, she's worth nothing to me. Over tea, Richard told his mother everything. About the other tests. The other people he'd evaluated. There was Jennifer. The woman before Ashley. Richard pretended to lose his job. Told her the money was gone. She left within a week. Found a richer boyfriend within 2. There was Marcus. His business partner candidate. Richard tested him by giving him access to funds. Marcus embezzled $200,000 within a month. Thought Richard wouldn't notice. Richard noticed everything. There was his cousin, David. Asked Richard for a loan. $50,000. For his sick daughter. Richard gave it. No questions. Found out later there was no sick daughter. David bought a boat. Everyone wants something, Richard said. Money. Status. Access. Very few people just want you. His mother looked sad. That must be lonely. It is. But better lonely than surrounded by liars. Ashley was different though. I tested her longer. Harder. Because I really wanted her to pass. What made you suspect her? Richard thought back. Little things. The way she talked about waiters. Called them those people. The way she looked at homeless people with disgust. The way she talked about her assistant like she was stupid. She was always sweet to me, but cruel to people she thought didn't matter. And people who are cruel to those who don't matter are cruel people. Period. When you moved in, I saw an opportunity. To see how she'd treat someone she thought was beneath her. Someone who couldn't fight back. Someone I loved. His mother was crying again. I failed your test too, didn't I? I should have told you what was happening. No, Mom. You passed. You were kind even when she was cruel. You endured to protect my happiness. That's love. That's character. Ashley failed because when she thought I wasn't watching, she revealed her true self. Mean. Entitled. Cruel. That's who she really is. And I will never ever let someone like that into our lives again. Comment below, was Richard right to test her this way? The next 3 days were chaos. Ashley tried everything. She called, texted, emailed, apologizing, begging, threatening. She showed up at the house. Security turned her away. She called Richard's friends. Told them he was crazy, controlling, abusive. But Richard had the videos. He showed them. One by one, Ashley's friends saw the truth. She went to the media. Tried to sell a story. Millionaire dumps fiancé for helping around the house. But Richard's lawyer shut it down. Threatened lawsuit. Showed the evidence. The media wanted nothing to do with her. Day 4, Ashley came to Richard's office. His assistant tried to stop her. But she barged in. Richard, please. Just listen to me for 5 minutes. Richard looked up from his desk. You have 2 minutes. Ashley sat down. Took a breath. And for the first time, she was honest. I'm sorry. Genuinely sorry. Not because I got caught. But because I was wrong. Richard said nothing. I was raised to value money. Status. Appearances. My mother taught me that successful women marry successful men. And that once you get them, you manage the household your way. Managing the household doesn't mean abusing my mother. I know that now. But in the moment, I saw her as competition. For your attention. Your resources. Your love. Competition. Yes. I thought if I could make her uncomfortable enough, she'd leave. And then I'd have you all to myself. No one else to share you with. Richard stared at her. That's sociopathic. I know. I need help. Therapy. I'm already looking for someone. I wanted you to know I understand what I did was wrong. Good. I'm glad you're getting help. But we're done. Richard. You revealed who you are. And that person is not someone I want in my life. Or my mother's life. Or anyone's life until you do serious work on yourself. Ashley stood up. I really did love you, you know. No. You loved what I could give you. There's a difference. And she left. For the last time. 6 months passed. Richard and his mother settled into a new routine. She stopped feeling guilty about living there. Started treating it like home. They had breakfast together every morning. Talked about everything. His work. Her past. Their future. Richard hired a physical therapist. To help with his mother's arthritis. Her knee pain. She got stronger. Healthier. Happier. One morning, she came down to breakfast smiling. I got a call yesterday. From who? The senior center. They need volunteers to teach literacy classes. I used to do that before I got too tired. Are you going to do it? I'd like to. If that's okay. I know you wanted me to rest. Mom, you should do whatever makes you happy. You're 72, not 92. You have so much life left to live. She hugged him. Thank you. For giving me my life back. Richard went back to work. But something had changed in him. The test with Ashley had clarified things. He didn't want to test people anymore. He wanted to find people who didn't need testing. He started volunteering. At homeless shelters. Youth centers. Programs for at-risk kids. Places where people had nothing. And he watched how they treated each other. The ones who shared their food. The ones who helped without being asked. The ones who had nothing but gave everything. Those were the people who mattered. Those were the people with character. And Richard realized something. He'd been looking for good people in the wrong places. Country clubs. Galas. High society. But goodness isn't found in mansions. It's found in actions. In choices. In how people treat others when there's nothing to gain. 8 months after Ashley left, Richard met someone. At a homeless shelter where he volunteered. Her name was Maya. 36 years old. Social worker. Master's degree. Could have made 6 figures in corporate HR. But chose to work with homeless families for $42,000 a year. They met over soup. Richard was serving. Maya was coordinating. You're new here, she said. Started 3 months ago. What made you want to volunteer? I wanted to remember where I came from. And find people who care about things that matter. Maya smiled. Well, you're in the right place. These families have nothing. But they have more dignity and strength than most rich people I've met. Richard looked at her. Really looked. No makeup. Simple clothes. Tired eyes but bright smile. Beautiful in a way that had nothing to do with appearance. They started talking. About life. About values. About what matters. And Richard realized something. He hadn't been tested in a long time. Because Maya didn't know who he was. Didn't know about the money. The mansion. The success. She just knew Richard the volunteer. And she liked him anyway. After a month of volunteering together, Richard asked her to dinner. Like a date? She asked. If you want it to be. I do. But full disclosure, I'm broke. Student loans. Social worker salary. I can't go anywhere fancy. Good. I know a great taco truck. $3 tacos. Best in the city. Maya laughed. You're on. They went to the taco truck. Sat on a bench in the park. Talked for 4 hours. And Richard felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. No testing. No suspicion. No wondering. Just connection. With someone who chose to help people over making money. Who valued kindness over status. Who had character in her bones. On their 3rd date, Richard told her the truth. About the money. The house. Everything. Maya's eyes went wide. You're that Richard Hayes? Cross Technologies. Yes. She processed this. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to see if you'd like me without knowing. I've been burned before by people who wanted my money more than they wanted me. Maya nodded slowly. I get that. And for the record? I liked you better when I thought you were broke. Rich Richard is kind of intimidating. Richard laughed. Well, I'm still the same person. Are you? Because money changes people. Not if they don't let it. Maya smiled. Okay. I can work with that. But fair warning, I'm still going Dutch on dates. I don't care how many millions you have. And Richard fell a little bit in love. With a woman who didn't need his money. Who didn't want his status. Who just wanted him. After 6 months of dating, Richard brought Maya home. To meet his mother. She's going to love you, Richard said in the car. How do you know? Because you're real. Genuine. Kind. Everything she values. What if I'm not fancy enough? I grew up in a trailer park. I don't know about wine and... Maya. My mom grew up in poverty too. She doesn't care about fancy. She cares about character. They walked into the house. His mother was in the kitchen. Cooking. Humming to herself. Happy. Mom, this is Maya. His mother turned around. Looked at Maya. Simple dress. Nervous smile. Genuine eyes. And she knew. Immediately. This was different. Maya. Richard's told me so much about you. Come, sit. Are you hungry? I made too much as always. They sat at the kitchen table. Not the fancy dining room. The kitchen. Where real conversations happen. Richard says you're a social worker. Yes, ma'am. I work with homeless families. Helping them find housing, resources, stability. That must be hard work. It is. But it's important. These are people everyone else has given up on. Someone needs to care. Richard's mother smiled. My son told me about someone once. Someone who made his mother scrub floors while she ate chocolates. Maya's eyes widened. I heard about that. That's awful. What would you have done if you'd been in that situation? Maya didn't hesitate. I would have been on the floor with her. Helping. No one should scrub floors alone, especially not someone with arthritis. Richard's mother's eyes filled with tears. That's the right answer. After dinner, Richard's mother pulled him aside. She's the one. You think so? I know so. She has something money can't buy. What's that? A good heart. Don't let her go. And Richard had no intention of it. But here's the truth. The truth Richard hadn't told anyone. Not even his mother. He'd been testing Maya too. Not cruelly. Not like Ashley. But quietly. Carefully. Because he needed to know. He'd taken her to expensive restaurants. She'd ordered the cheapest thing on the menu. Insisted on paying her half. Even when he said not to. He'd forgotten his wallet once. Maya paid for both of them without hesitation. Never mentioned it again. Never held it over him. He'd introduced her to his wealthy friends. They'd been condescending. Rude about her job. Maya stayed polite but didn't change who she was. Didn't pretend to be someone else to fit in. And then came the real test. Richard asked his mother to help him. I need you to pretend to be sick. Not seriously. Just needing help. Why? I need to see how Maya reacts. When someone needs her. When there's no reward. No recognition. Just need. His mother agreed. One night when Maya came over for dinner, Richard's mother pretended to have a dizzy spell. Oh, I don't feel well. Richard jumped up. But Maya was faster. She was at his mother's side immediately. Checking her pulse. Her eyes. Her color. When did this start? Have you eaten today? Are you taking your medications? Professional. Calm. Kind. For the next 2 hours, Maya took care of Richard's mother. Made her tea. Made her comfortable. Stayed even though the date was ruined. Never complained. Never sighed. Never looked inconvenienced. Just cared. After Maya left, Richard's mother looked at him. I feel terrible lying to her. I know. But I had to know. If she'd stay when things got hard. When there was no fun. Just need. And she passed. Better than I could have hoped. That's when Richard knew. Maya was the one. Not because she was perfect. But because her character was real. Tested and proven. Not in staged situations. But in real moments. When she thought no one was evaluating her. When she was just being herself. And herself was beautiful. 1 year after they met, Richard planned something special. Not a fancy restaurant. Not a helicopter ride. Something meaningful. He took Maya back to the homeless shelter, where they first met. "Why are we here?" she asked. "You'll see." They walked inside. The families they'd helped were there. The staff. The volunteers. All gathered. "What's going on?" Richard took her hand. Led her to the center of the room. "Maya, when I met you, I was looking for something. Someone real. Someone good. Someone who chose kindness over comfort. I'd been burned before. By people who wanted my money. My status. Everything except me. So I tested people. Put them in situations to see their true character. And most failed." Maya's eyes widened. "You tested me?" "Yes. And you passed every single test without knowing you were being tested. Because you weren't performing. You were just being who you are. You stayed when my mother was sick. You paid when I forgot my wallet. You stayed humble when my rich friends were condescending. You never changed who you were to impress anyone. And I realized something. The best people don't need tests. Because their character isn't situational. It's who they are. Always." Richard got down on one knee. The room gasped. "Maya, you chose to help people over making money. You chose kindness over status. You chose me when you thought I was just a volunteer with nothing to offer. Will you marry me?" Maya was crying. "You tested me? This whole time?" "Yes. And I'm sorry. But I needed to know. After what happened with—" "I understand," Maya said quietly. "You needed to protect yourself. Your heart. Your mother. Are you angry?" She thought about it. "No. Because you tested me fairly. You didn't humiliate me. You didn't trap me. You just watched. To see if I was who I said I was. And I was. Because I don't know how to be anyone else. So yes. Yes, I'll marry you." The room exploded in applause. The families they'd helped were cheering. Richard's mother was crying happy tears in the corner. And Richard kissed Maya, the woman who passed every test by not knowing she was being tested. Later that night, at home, Richard, Maya, and his mother sat together. "I have something to tell you both," Richard said. "What?" they asked. "I'm done testing people." "What changed?" his mother asked. "Maya changed me. She showed me that the right person doesn't need tests. Their character shows naturally. In every action. Every choice. Every moment. I was so focused on protecting myself from bad people, I almost missed the good ones standing right in front of me." Maya squeezed his hand. "We all protect ourselves after we've been hurt. That's human. But eventually, you have to trust again. Risk again. Love again. You did that with me. And I'm so grateful." Richard's mother smiled. "You both learned the same lesson I tried to teach Richard when he was young." "What's that?" Maya asked. "Money can buy luxury, comfort, security. But it can't buy character. It can't buy kindness. It can't buy class." Ashley had money, beauty, education. But she had no character. So she was worthless. "Maya, you have less money. But you have everything that matters. Character. Kindness. A good heart. That makes you priceless. And Richard, you finally understand. The people worth having in your life are the ones who love you for who you are. Not what you have." Richard nodded. "I spent years looking for good people in all the wrong places. In country clubs. In business circles. In high society. But the best people are in places like this. He gestured around. In soup kitchens. In homeless shelters. In classrooms with underpaid teachers. In hospitals with overworked nurses. The people who choose service over salary. Who choose helping over having. Who choose others over themselves. Those are the people with real class. Real character. Real worth. Maya smiled. So what now? Now we build something together. Something that matters. Not just a marriage, but a life of purpose. And they did. Richard and Maya got married 6 months later. At the homeless shelter. Surrounded by the families they'd helped. His mother walked Maya down the aisle. Because Maya's father wasn't in her life. And Richard's mother had become hers too. Music legacy building. They used the money Richard would have spent on a fancy wedding. To build a new wing at the shelter. 20 more beds. A medical clinic. A job training center. They called it the Ruth Hayes Center for Second Chances. Named after Richard's mother. Who'd given him his first chance. And taught him that character matters more than wealth. 5 years later. Richard and Maya had 2 children. They still volunteered at the shelter every week. As a family. Teaching their kids the same lesson. That money is a tool. Not a measure of worth. That kindness is free. But priceless. That character is built in how you treat people who can do nothing for you. Richard's mother, now 79, sat with her grandchildren one day. "Grandma, was Daddy always nice?" She smiled. "Your daddy had to learn. Just like everyone does. He made mistakes. Trusted the wrong people. Protected himself in the wrong ways. But he learned. And that's what matters. Not that we're perfect. But that we grow. That we learn. That we become better." What happened to the mean lady? The one who made you clean? Richard's mother thought about Ashley. Last she heard, Ashley was in therapy. Working on herself. Dating someone kind. Someone who called her out when she was cruel. Growing, slowly. She learned too. Eventually. It took her longer. But she got there. Are you still mad at her? No, sweetheart. I'm not. Because her cruelty taught your father something important. It helped him find your mother. And that gave me you. So even bad things can lead to good things? Exactly. That night, Richard stood in his house. The same mansion where he'd found his mother scrubbing floors. But now it was filled with different energy. Love. Laughter. Purpose. Maya was reading to their kids. His mother was knitting in her favorite chair. No one was scrubbing. No one was performing. No one was testing. Just living. Richard thought about the journey. From poor kid eating half sandwiches. To millionaire testing everyone. To husband and father who finally understood. The test wasn't for other people. It was for him. To see if he'd choose right. If he'd value character over appearance. Kindness over status. Love over luxury. And he'd passed. Not by being perfect. But by learning. By growing. By choosing the right person. Not the beautiful one. Not the connected one. Not the one who looked good on paper. But the one who was good. Period. Because in the end, money bought him a mansion. But character built him a home. Money bought him luxury. But kindness brought him joy. Money bought him everything he thought he wanted. But love gave him everything he actually needed. And that made all the difference. Money can buy you a house. But only kindness can build you a home. Money can buy you attention. But only character can earn you respect. Money can buy you luxury. But only love can give you peace. In the end, what you have means nothing. Who you are means everything. Final comment, type character over cash, if this story taught you something.